Decisions are difficult. There's no way around it. Let's talk about it. All right, y'all, welcome to the channel. I've made a video in like a week or so now. I was on vacation back in Southern California, visiting family. So that was great. Just a great trip, really much needed reset. But we are back in Dallas. Happy to be back. But let's get into the video here. So I wanted to make a video talking about decisions. Some of the videos on this channel are going to be things I'm going through. Some of the videos are going to be things that maybe people have mentioned I should talk about. Some of the things will be things that I just think are good ideas. Today's subject is something I'm currently going through. I'm in the process of making a really big life decision. It's difficult because, you know, when you're a kid and you make decisions, typically they're not huge, right? But when you're an adult and you're thinking about your life and your future, the decisions can be huge. That's the best word for it. And I'm currently going through that right now. If I wasn't a Christian, I don't know how I would be able to not be overly anxious and not stress every second. As a Christian, I'm able to rely on Jesus. I'm able to talk to him. But even then, I get it. Like, we're humans. And some of you are Christian, but you still stress in these situations. So how should you make a decision? What should go into that process? Well, the first thing I want to say before you take my advice is I am not a life expert. I'm not some coach. I just happen to be a dude who writes about sports, and I love Jesus. And I just wanted to give you my take on this. And I'm kind of talking to myself as well, just kind of thinking about life and thinking about God and how to approach this. You know, the Bible does talk about similar things to this, and the verse that most people are going to bring up, of course, is talks about, you know, man plans his ways, but God directs his steps. And I think people will mention that verse, they'll refer to that verse, but they don't really think about what it means. What does that mean? Does it mean you just sit back and wait and hope God does something? Is that what it means? Or does it mean you take action, and if you get a no for whatever you're pursuing, then that's God's way of saying no? The first thing I want to say here is I think you need to fully pursue Jesus before making any huge decision in life. We all go through our ups and downs. We have moments where we're on fire for God. We have moments where some of us, I have honestly questioned my faith in the past. Haven't done that anytime recently, but in the past for sure. So you want to make sure like you're not always going to be on fire for God, but you want to make sure that you're fully pursuing Jesus, because then I do believe that when you get certain desires to pursue things, certain random, inspirations to do something, and if you're fully pursuing Jesus, I think those can be good things. Now, I'm not talking about like temptation, right? Like, there's going to be sinful desires that obviously you don't want to give into. But I'm talking about maybe you have this urge to move somewhere that you would never have moved to before, and you're pursuing Jesus, and there's this opportunity to go and do it. There's a chance that could be God. Now, you got to pray, you got to really think about it. But if you really feel like God is calling you, don't ignore that. That can be a real thing. Sometimes maybe God's saying, maybe you're feeling like you need to stay put in this season of your life, and you wanted to move, but maybe God's saying, hey, I want you here. If you're really pursuing Jesus, you're in your word every day, you're praying to God, I think you can start to trust those kind of feelings. Man plans his ways, but God directs his steps. I think it's okay to formulate a plan. I don't think that's wrong. At the same time, you want to stay fervent in prayer. You want to stay confident in Jesus. You want to be as close as you can to Jesus so you can kind of see like what the right move can be. There is an element of waiting and being patient. I think, for example, when I started with Clutch Points, I was back in California. I was a writer and an editor. And then I wanted to do reporting. So I told them, hey, I'd love to do reporting. And I was going to do one thing. It didn't work out. And then the Mavericks ended up working out, and I moved from SoCal to Dallas. But I waited like probably a year or so before that opportunity came to fruition. So I had kind of put the wheels in motion by going to Clutch Points and say, hey, I would like to do reporting. It didn't happen right away. So that's where it's man plans his ways, God directs his steps. God's steps were for me to stay put in SoCal for that year that I was waiting and just working for Clutch Points remotely. And then I moved out to Dallas, and I've been here now for almost 2 years. And now I'm currently in the process of another big life decision, which I won't talk about now, but I will talk about at some point down the road once everything gets settled. But it's exciting and it's crazy, and we live in this crazy world where we're all just living life, trying to make the best decisions possible. And I do believe that if you're watching this and you believe in Jesus, you have an advantage. You really do. And if you don't, I would of course encourage you to consider following Jesus. I think it's the best decision you can ever make. But if not, and you just want advice on how to make a decision, I think this has been more of a biblically based advice. But I do think that just staying patient, but at the same time, like putting the wheels in motion, applying for that job, asking that girl out, right? Like you might say, should I ask her out? Do it. Like if it's a girl that you like and makes sense, just anything. There can be so many different things for this conversation. For me, I'm kind of focusing it more on like career or your life, but there can be so many things. It can be what kind of milk to get at the store. Like there are so many decisions that we have to make. Some of them are bigger than others, but life full of decisions. And I can just tell you that when you're close to God, trusting God, it's a lot easier to make those decisions. Anyway, y'all, thanks for watching the video. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. I know I learned something just from being in the Word and getting closer to God. And it's just such a blessing to have God's Word be our how-to guide on how to do things. It's huge. Anyway, y'all take care, and I'll see you next time.